Hello, I welcome all of you to another video in the series of the novel NECTAR SIEVE. Today we'll be discussing chapter 9. One morning, I was pounding some red chilies into powder. Cho-chup, cho-chup, when the pestle into the mortar, crushing the little brittle chilies and the seeds in them. Each time it fell, a fine red dust rose up, spreading a rich, acrid smell in the air, a pleasant smell, hot and pungent, which made my nostrils water and squirted the tears into my eyes, so that every few minutes I had to stop to wipe them. It was a fine, peaceful morning, not a sound from the tannery, which for one blessed day in the week completely closed down. Each time I paused, I could hear sparrows twittering and thin, clear note of a miner. Into the view on the horizon came two figures moving very slowly, and I went on with my pounding. The figures grew larger every time I looked up, and then when they were still a fair distance away, I recognized my daughter. I had seen her only since her marriage, and since then over a year had passed. Excited, I gathered up the chili powder and put it away, rinsed my eyes, washed my face, and came out. On the doorstep, I traced out a column, a pattern in white rice flour, to welcome them. Column is a sort of very Dravidian type uh, welcoming gift sort of thing that the Tamil people do. They approached slowly, as if their feet were somehow weighted, not with the lightness which should have brought them quickly to my side. Something is wrong, I thought. Young people should not walk thus. And when I saw their faces, and when I saw their faces, the words of welcome I had ready died unuttered. In silence, Ira knelt at my feet. I raised her up quietly with hammering heart. Let us go in, I said. You must be tired. Ira entered obediently. Her husband stood stiffly outside. Come, I said again. Sit and rest for a while. You have traveled a long way. Mother-in-law, he said, I intend no discourtesy, but this is no ordinary visit. You gave me your daughter in marriage. I have brought her back to you. She is a barren woman. Now, this is the typical gender realities reflected through the failure of Ira's marriage. You have not been married long, I said with dry lips. She may be as I was. She may yet conceive. I have waited 5 years, he replied. She has not borne in her first blooming. Who can say she will conceive later? I need sons. So the in the part where the son-in-law mentions the Iravadi is a barren woman, it shows how infertility is considered as a problem for a woman. Thus, her image is tarnished. So, I summoned Nathan from the fields. We can call him Nathan or Nathan, both are correct. I summoned Nathan from the fields. The tale was repeated. Our son-in-law departed. I do not blame him, Nathan said. He is justified, for a man needs children. He has been patient. Not patient enough, I said. Not patient like you, beloved. Ira was sitting with a face in her arms. She looked up as her father and I came in, and her mouth moved a little loosely, as if she had no control over her lips. She was lovely still, but strain and hopelessness had shadowed her eyes and lined her forehead. She seemed almost to back away as I went to her. Leave me alone. Like it shows the pathetic plight of Ira. Her backing away. Leave me alone, mother. I have seen this coming for a long time. The reality is much easier to bear than imaginings. At least now there is no more fear, no more necessity for lies and concealment. There should never have been. Like it's quite absurd that the Indian society forces a child to bear children. It's really absurd and really strange. Like It's not even age she should bear children. Like, she is not even matured yet. So it's quite absurd, as we can see. There should never have been, I said. Are we not your parents? Did you think we would blame you for what is not your fault? There are others, she replied, neighbors, women, and I, a failure, a woman who cannot even bear a child. All this I had gone through, the torment, the anxiety. Now the whole dreadful story was repeating itself. It was my daughter this time. Hush, I said. We are all in God's hands. Hush, I said. We are all in God's hands. He is merciful. My thoughts went to Kenny. He can help, I thought. Surely he can do something. My crushed spirit revived a little. About this time, Arjun was in his early teens. He was tall for his age and older than his years. I had taught him the little I knew of reading and writing. Now he could have taught me and most of the people in the town. I do not know how he did, for we could not afford to send him to school or to buy him books. Yet he always had a book or two by him, about which he grew vague if I asked questions, and spent many hours writing on scraps of paper he collected, or even when he had none on the bare earth. Secretly, I was glad, for I saw my father in him, although sometimes my husband worried that he showed no inclination for the land. But when one day he told me he was going to work in the tannery, I was acutely dismayed. It seemed it was going to be neither the one thing nor the other, neither land nor letters, which was to claim him. You are young, I attempted to dissuade him. Besides, you are not of the caste of tenors. What will our relations say? I do not know, he said. I do not care. The important thing is to eat. How heartless are the young. One would have thought from his words we had purposely starved him, when in fact, he always got the biggest share after my husband. So I said, we do not do enough for you. These are fine words from an eldest son. They do not make good hearing. You do everything you can, he said. It is not enough. I'm tired of hunger and I'm tired of seeing my brothers hungry. There's never enough, especially since Ira came to live with us. You would not grudge your own sister a mouthful, I cried, who eats half what I give her, so that you boys can have the more. The more reason for me to rejoined Arjun. I do not grudge to her or to you. I'm only concerned that there is so little. He was right, of course. The harvests had been very poor. Shop prices were higher than ever. Well, I said, go if you must. You speak like a man, although you're a child still. But I do not know whether you can obtain work at the tannery. People say they have all the labor they want. Kunti's son will help me. He has promised. I did not want to be indebted to Kunti or to her son. She was so different from us, sly and secretive, with a faintly contemptuous air about her in which her son was almost to insolence. So insolence means hatred and contemptuous means dislike. He had inherited her looks too, and the knowledge of it lay in his bold eyes, a handsome, swaggering youth, not for my son. There is no need to go through him, I said with determination. I'll ask Kenny to help you. White men have power. Indeed they have, he said bitterly, over men and events, and especially over women. So here Arjun is hinting, Arjun has probably been brainwashed by some tale between Rukmani and Kenny. So uh, someone must have brainwashed him or told him a story that Rukmani and Kenny are having an affair. Probably it could be Kunti who had told of such a tale to him, and either it could be the Kunti's son too. It could be either Kunti's son or Kunti. What do you mean? I said to him. Speak with a plain tongue or not at all. He looked at me obliquely, means indirectly, with darkening eyes, but would say no more. A few days later, he began working at the tannery. And before long, Thambi, my second son, had joined him. The two of them had been very close to each other from their earliest years, and it was not strange that Thambi should follow his brother, Nathan, and I both tried to dissuade him, but without avail. My husband especially had been looking forward to the day when they would join him in working on the land, but Thambi only shook his head. If it were your land or mine, he said, I would work with you gladly. But what profit to labor for another and get so little in return? Far better to turn away from such injustice. Nathan said not a word, so Nathan knew it was true. There was a crushed look about him which spoke of the deep hurt he had suffered more than any words could have. He had always wanted to own his own land through the years. There had been hope growing fainter with each year, each child, that one day he would be able to call a small portion of land his own. Now even his sons knew it would never be like his brother before him. Thambi had found the cruelest words of any. Yet they were good sons, considerate of us, patient with others, always giving us a fair share of their earnings. With their money, we began once again to live well. In the granary, unused for so long, I stored away half a bag of rice, 2 measures of dal, and nearly a pound of chilies. Here, too, almost all we grew had been sold to pay the rent of the land. Now we were enabled to keep some of our own produce. I was especially pleased that I had not been forced to sell all the chilies, for these are useful to us when the tongue rebels against plain boiled rice, desiring ghee and salt and spices which one cannot afford. The sharp bite of a chili renders even plain rice palatable. So in the previous one place where we saw Thambi not agreeing to work in the farm, it shows in the peripheries or the land, he shows how the new generation does not believe in such things. He is determined as the primary priority is hunger, so he's not interested in it. And the far better to turn away from such injustice is broad brings out how the tenant farming system is very brutal to the individuals. I was able to I was able at last to thatch our hut again substantially with 2 or 3 binding of leaves. For the first time in years, I had brought clothes for the older children, a sari for myself, and although he protested, I brought for my husband a dhoti which he badly needed since the other were in rags and barely covered his loins. Loins means the below part or the sexual organs. Both he and palatable in the other place meant delicious and so brings out the plight of the poor. So both he and I had the garments we had worn at our daughter's marriage, but these we never thought of wearing, whatever hardships our day-to-day living might have. We were determined not to disgrace our sons on the day of their wedding. So Kamala Markandeya has brought out in this chapter the truth and the plight of the poor, and it also brings out the fall of Ira's marriage. It brings out how Ira is brought home due to her inability to bear her child, and that this as a conclusion it can be shown thus, and how Rukmani's sons begin to work in the tannery. So with that, we end chapter 9, and in the next video we'll be discussing chapter 10. So thank you for watching, and please do subscribe to our channel and to get more videos. So and click on the notification button to get more videos. Thank you.